Hello, 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 and welcome to something a little bit different than what I've been doing here lately. I just finished watching the Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville team on live from Neighborville. This was their first stream since the start of 2020, and they gave a lot of really interesting content updates, things that are coming, things that are planned for the future, and cool updates coming up. So in this live from Neighborville, they covered a few major topics. They covered the legendary upgrades that were hinted at by John, the community manager, which Kernal Corn is the first one to get a legendary upgrade, which I'll be covering in a minute. There was a new balance patch that was shown that's going to be coming out on Tuesday, January 28th, which I'll also get into in just a minute. They showed that a new Turf Takeover map is coming in that January 28th update called Preserve Pastures, and they gave us a sneak peek at the newest playable character coming to Battle for Neighborville, which is the Wizard, as I'm sure all of you already knew that, but they actually showed us an in-game screenshot. To start off, I want to cover the legendary upgrades, with Kernal Corn getting the first legendary upgrade introduced to the game. The upgrade can be obtained by completing the Golden Path in the Valenbrainz Festival Road Map, which comes out on February 3rd. They switched up the way the road map works a little bit, but it's still the same concept: get to the end, get rewards. It's not the 100% completion reward, it's just getting to the end of the Golden Path. If you don't get this upgrade during the event, you'll be able to buy it for 300 rainbow stars from Rux after the festival is over. So if you don't want to have to use premium currency, play a fair bit during the festival so you can get it. The upgrade can be equipped to Corn for 5 equipment points, which 5 out of your 7, that's a lot. Is it worth it? That's for you to decide. I think it looks fairly neat. What it does is it slows down Kernal Corn's firing rate, making him alternate shots between his left and right cobs instead of just letting both of them go. And it increases his damage from 6 damage per shot to 12 damage per shot. So I don't know how that actually plays out in DPS. A lot of testing will have to be done to see that. But if you're precise, it's probably a pretty good upgrade. The other benefit to this legendary upgrade is that whenever you're aiming down sight, you have a shield that pops up. So think Super Brainz' shield whenever you're holding down your aim button, except it's not quite as big, but it can be up while you're firing. So it could be good protection, which Corn. I am not a personal fan of Corn right now, so maybe that will be a good upgrade for me. Along with that upgrade, Kernal Corn is getting the legendary skins in the Valenbrainz Festival Road Map. For completing the Golden Path, you get the Foodal Lord Dracornius, and for completing 100% of the roadmap, you get Blade of the Beetle. There's also a cool looking Cupid type costume available for Pea-Shooter, and I cannot wait to get into this roadmap. New festivals are fun, and the Valenbrainz Festival adds some life back to Neighborville. It's not cold and dreary and snowy. There's hearts everywhere. There's a cannon that shoots rose petals. Oh, it's just so happy. They also covered the game patch that is coming on Tuesday, January 28th. Nightcap, Acorn, Rose, Imp, and Electric Slide are all having their hitboxes increase. Now, if you've watched any of my Road to Master videos, you know that I have a very hard time hitting the smaller characters, and I always struggle with it. So this, for me, is a very welcome addition. How much are they increased? Who knows? We'll have to wait until we can actually play the game to see.
It's really hard to hurt some sprinting, jumping characters, especially the smaller ones. Yeah. So, we didn't overdo it, but we think we got into a better spot.
The primary weapons for a lot of characters are also getting touched up. For example, All-Star, according to the dev team, is no longer going to be a football sniper.
I think the biggest offender in this was All-Star. You guys, I've seen it everywhere. I've seen it on Twitter, I've seen it on the forums.
The football tossing sniper.
Yeah, the football tossing sniper.
And this is because of what they're calling the velocity and drag distance update. Now, that probably doesn't make a lot of sense on the surface, but what it means in layman's terms is that the further the shot gets away from your character, the more it will drop. So it's pretty much like if you've played like Battlefield or any sort of game like that, there's bullet drop. Pretty much it's just bullet drop. Along with those aiming adjustments to various characters and various other buffs and nerfs, Super Brains and Chomper are getting increased melee hitboxes. Whenever I heard them say that, I was like, thank you, thank you, thank you. Because playing those characters, it looks like you're hitting people. It sounds like you're hitting people, but no damage comes up. Hopefully it makes a big change to the way they play, because right now Super Brains is miserable to play. Those are the main key points. There are other various nerfs to characters like Foot Soldier and Rose, but the last thing that they covered that's coming in the January 28th patch is the new Turf Takeover map, Preserve Pastures. This is the map that the Gargantum on the zombie side of things and the Dill Pickle fellow guy in Rux's shop on the plant side of things were talking about. This is what they were hinting at. This is a map where the zombies are the attacking team, and they're trying to figure out what the plants were hiding underneath their barn. And we didn't actually get to see what's under the barn in this Live from Neighborville, but it sounds like it's just a spa, and they're using the brine water as spa water. Who really knows what's under there, and I can't wait to see what it is. But also, there are a whole lot of Easter eggs that come in this map. Personally, I think the map looks great. It looks a lot smaller than other turf maps. Maybe I'm completely wrong on that, but it did look smaller. It's very colorful. There's a lot of good detail in it. It looks like it has a lot of life, and I'm very, very excited to try it. I haven't been playing a lot of turf recently since the switch to 8v8, but this might get me back into it. And now, why everyone probably clicked on this video and wants to know what's going on. The Wizard. The Wizard is the first new class that is coming to Battle for Neighborville after the release of the game in October. He is part of the zombie team, obviously, and releases as part of March's festival's prize map, which they didn't specify what that festival is going to be called. He'll be unlockable in a similar fashion to the Kernal Corn legendary upgrade from the Valenbrainz Festival, so get to the end of the Golden Path, and you'll get it. He'll be unlocked. Also on this path, he gets what the team said was a super cool costume, which of course they're going to say that, but...
Wizard along with a cool costume. We're not showing his costume just yet, but...
Nope.
I think it'll probably be true. I like the costumes they've already created, so I'm going to have faith in them. The 100% reward will also be for Wizard. Obviously, if the Golden Path reward is for Wizard, so will the 100%. Now, if you're not able to unlock him through the prize map, and you come back at a later date, he will be unlockable with coins, which is a huge deal. He won't have to be bought with any sort of premium currency or real life currency. He can be bought purely from currency that you get by playing the game and grinding the game. They didn't specify how much he'll be, but a new character is probably worth a fair amount. Like, even if he is like 1 million coins, that's still not that bad, in my opinion. Personally, I also play a lot more than most people. That's beyond the point. They didn't go into full detail on what his abilities are or how he'll play or any of his stats or anything. All they really told us is that he's able to turn into this wizard ball. One of his ability turns himself into this wizard ball. I assume it's probably like the ball at the end of the staff. Who knows? And it allows him to attach himself to another ally. Now, that can be a zombie that's been summoned, like an outhouse zombie, one of your zombie bosses from a special game mode. That can be a teammate, like one of your all-stars or your scientists, so attached to your scientist, warp around with him. Or it's something that they mentioned that was pretty interesting to me, is that he could also be attached to Deadbeard's parrot. So does that mean he can like fly across the map? They stated that this attaching to your teammates or your allies will give that person or that character unspecified boosts and abilities. So who knows what that could mean. I'm very excited for it. I love having new content to play. I love having new characters to play. And I will be grinding for him as much as possible whenever the March Festival launches. I will not be spending money on prize bulbs or anything, though you can do that if you want to play him right away. But I'm excited. I'm ready for a new character. I'm ready for something like that to come out, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Last but not least, there were 2 things that they touched on but didn't really go into detail on. The first of which is that Ranked Battle Arena is coming to the game. This update or this game mode is coming in the same patch as the Wizard, which is in March. If you've played any other multiplayer games, you've probably seen ranked playlists and how they do it. And at the end of a season, there are special rewards for how well you placed or what rank you were able to get to. And that's the same way for Battle for Neighborville. So if you get a high rank, you'll get a neat reward, I'm sure. I personally don't ever really play ranked game modes. I like the casual modes to where I can just play around and not get too stressed about it. But I'm always down for new ways to make content, which Ranked Battle Arena, new content, and new ways to earn rewards, which I like achieving the rewards in this game. Pretty fun. So I'll give it a try. And the last thing they revealed was that there will be an optional opt-in to share your data with the team. And this data will be put into an API, which will be accessible by, at first, a closed group of people, and then eventually it will be pushed out to where pretty much anybody can access it. And what this will allow people to do is analyze the data that has been submitted from people playing the game, and it'll give insights to the community about who's underperforming, who's overperforming, who's the best zombie, who's the best plant, who needs a buff, who needs a nerf, and it'll help keep track of statistics so that you can see what's going on inside the game, which there are a lot of people out there that can use this data to analyze it, create neat websites where you can check on your stats or check on people you're playing against stats. And overall, I only see good things that can come from this. So I'm excited. That will be a slow rollout. It'll take time, as all things do, but it'll be cool. And those are the main points that were covered in this live stream. It was awesome to have the team back, see what they have to say. I always look forward to these live streams because, you get an insight of the game that you play every day. I've been playing the game since it was released for Founders Edition, and I've been loving it. So any new updates are welcome. If you guys have any questions for me or want to hear my thoughts on anything else, just leave it in the comments below. So peace out, Girl Scout. I'll see you next time.